Hi. As I said earlier, any kind of Greek-influenced drama, plays up on stage, had a lot to compete with in Roman culture because the Romans had this big variety of entertainment, and every type of entertainment was always competing with each other. So eventually, the Roman interest in drama, in plays, in what we think of as plays and theater, the Roman interest in that eventually subsided to their interest in other forms of theatrical entertainment, most notably mime and pantomime. These types of entertainment became so popular, they actually eventually drove all other forms of entertainment from the stage. Mime and pantomime became like the most popular type of entertainment in Rome, and everything else kind of got driven away. Mime and pantomime were also taken from the Greeks, but they became really popular in Rome. Um, it isn't what we associate with mime today. I know everyone's getting that image in their head of like the black and white striped shirt and the beret, and like, I'm stuck in a box. Ah. Even though that's very stereotypical and really not what mime is ever at all. But anyway, don't be picturing that in your heads. That's not what mime was then, or really even what it is now. But anyway, miming today does have its roots in ancient Greek and Roman mime. So here's what it actually was, which, disclaimer, it's really hard for historians to deduce what mime and pantomime definitely were in ancient Rome because of a lack of consistent evidence. The evidence kind of goes a little all over the place. But here's what's been pieced together. Um, Mime and pantomime stressed mimetic action, which was storytelling through movement and gesture. But in ancient Rome, it did also include some song and some spoken dialogue. The usual mime plot in ancient Rome focused on really um, base, crude, vulgar, debauchery types of scenes. They had scenes of adultery and other vices, including lots of violence. The Romans loved it, ate it up. Um, Another theater history disclaimer. These are the records of mime that have survived. I mean, is that all that there was? Or were there other types of mime that just weren't recorded or didn't survive? I don't know. We also have to think like these were the records that survived because this was the most popular. That's what most theater historians would deduce. So anyway, just keep it in the back of your noggin. There is evidence, a lot of evidence that exists that actual acts of adultery were carried out on stage during mime performances. Raunchy. And evidence also exists that actual execution scenes with actual criminals in place of actors would be carried out on stage during mime performances. So, pretty intense. Women did appear on stage during mime performances, but not for any other type of theatrical Roman entertainment. I think the women were mostly brought on for those authentic adultery scenes. So, very much sensationalism, and you can see how in the Roman culture this kind of sensationalism competed with Greek drama, and it won. Like, it was basically like, how far can we go to compete with these other types of entertainment? I know, we're gonna like put real prisoners up on stage instead of actors and have them be actually like really executed on stage. Or we'll have real acts of adultery on stage. It's like, like the worst of reality TV, ancient Rome style. So this was the theatrical entertainment that won out the popularity contest in Rome. Yikes, this was what the Romans wanted to see. Later, when we get to the Middle Ages, we're going to see how Christianity sort of takes over theater. And they've used these types of mime and pantomime performances as evidence of the debauchery that needed to be taken away, that was so immoral and horrible that they needed to shut down theater altogether. So in a way, we have the Romans to thank for that. It's like they went too far, and then the Christians were able to step up and say, see, we have to shut down all theater because it's so horrible and immoral. But we'll get to that later. However, one good thing is that this style of mime and pantomime is also later attributed for influencing commedia dell'arte, which we will get to during the Italian Renaissance, and which is, pretty amazing and awesome. We'll talk about that when we get to the Renaissance. Roman pantomime, which I haven't talked about too much, obviously, yet. Roman pantomime was different than mime because its themes tended to be a bit loftier. It wasn't as vile. And the biggest difference is the pantomime wore various masks. I've included a picture on this slide, probably that way. Over. I'm trying to point to the other direction. Sorry. Anyway, on this slide, there's a picture of a pantomime with his mask on. And of course, wearing the mask deprived the pantomime of speech and facial expressions. So a pantomime relied much more heavily on posture, gesture, and hand movements. And we've got one slide left with the Romans. Join me there.